Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. Fernando.
Welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew. We detailing cars now?
Of course, man. It's like, even Fernando detailing.
What do we have here today? We have a Volkswagen Jetta. And you may ask, oh, what are you guys doing to it?
We put a radio on it.
And doing that, what we thought we'd do today is take you through the steps that we go through. We'll show you putting the radio in, but we want to show you the steps we go through to figure out what parts you need to put the radio in. So it's going to be like a full circle of life thing, meaning what kind of radio, what kind of parts, where do we go, what do we look at, that kind of thing. So stay tuned and let's roll the beginning. First thing you're gonna do when you get the car in is come over here and check the year. Go to your 10th digit. That takes us to here, which is an A. Conveniently printed off one of these charts here on the wall because I don't want to remember everything. And A is 2010. Knowing the year next to knowing the make and model of the car is very important when searching for the right part. We know this is a Volkswagen, and we know it's a Jetta, not a Passat or a Bug or anything like that. Next thing we want to know is what type of radio we're going to be putting in it. In this case, he's recycling a radio from a previous install, which is a Pioneer. We know 4 things right now. That is year, make, model, and the type of radio. The next thing we want to look at is see, does it have steering wheel controls? In this case, there are no steering wheel controls. Does he have satellite radio that he wishes to retain?
No.
The other thing you want to do is see if it has any premium sound system. Maybe a Fender, Beats by Dre, Harman Kardon, Bose, all of them. Just look around the car and see what it has. Volkswagen likes to use Monsoon. It can be seen by powering the radio up and it will scroll Monsoon. Or, if you look in the back of the car, there's a Monsoon amp up here sometimes, or they'll just put a logo somewhere on the door or the dash or the bezel. In this case, we have no such thing, correct?
Correct.
With all that ammunition, we head to the laptop to find the parts that we need for the car. The first place we always look is pack-audio.com, and the reason for that is we stock more of their parts than anyone else. If the parts we're looking for weren't here, we go to our next site, which is metraonline.com, see what they have. If it's a newer car, we'll head over to iDataLink Maestro, go to the RR section, and check here. Those are our 3 main sites that we investigate to find out. Let's head back to the pack page, make, Volkswagen, model, Jetta, year, 2010, search. Each one of these pages has a similar search feature. Metro is right here, iData is right here. What you're gonna do now is scroll down until you find what you're looking for. First up is an RP4. RP4 is gonna retain steering wheel controls that we don't have. We'll move on. A C2R VW, radio replacement with no steering wheel controls. That's the guy we're looking for. These are all the steering wheel controls that are available to you. Scroll down. This is the dash kit we're gonna need. If it doesn't have a smart harness requirement, this would be the generic harness you'd use. But if it shows a smart harness first, chances are good you're going to need it. Antenna adapter, gonna need that as well. They make a speaker adapter, but we're not gonna concern ourselves with that. We just need those 3 parts. Taking the liberty of walked over and already got them. The 1017 dash kit, C2R VW2, the amplified antenna adapter. As you saw, there was 5 antenna adapters that could possibly be used in this. Really, there's 2, maybe 3. Once we get the radio out, we'll make sure, so we're gonna leave this one sealed up for right now. This particular Jetta, it's kind of a pain in the butt to get this one out. You have to start up here at the top and work your way down. As alluring as it is to just think that you get to pull this one little trim off and get into it, it's not. Unsnap the top grill. It has a bunch of clips that go all the way around it. Just be careful. At this point, most of this is going to be super brittle and want to break. There is a screw up here. It is a T25 Torx. When that is removed, you can pull out the inner vent assembly here, and there'll be 2 more Torx screws. These are T20s, and I just think they're all T20s, and that top one might be just a random screw that somebody put in there at one point. The whole AC piece has to come off. You don't want to unplug it. You just want to lift it up and set it back. Next, 2 more Torxes. lift up and this whole piece will come off. It's got all these little tiny clips on here that more than likely are just gonna fall apart on you. To get the whole radio out, 4 more Torxes. Use that superior finger strength. pull it forward. Don't unplug it yet. You just want to reach behind and unplug the antenna. This is a single. We have the double that he gave us, so we have the wrong one already. But what we need to find out is if this is amplified or not. It has a little clip that you slide down, and that allows you to push it. To test, we need a digital multimeter. Set to DC, which is the solid lines with the dashes beneath it. Put your negative test lead to ground. Turn the car on. Inside the antenna, there is a single center pin all the way in. We're going to test that. It is giving us 12 volts. That means that this is an amplified antenna through the center pin. Remove the power to the radio. Pinches from the bottom here, and then this arm swings. Slide the whole thing out. Let's head over to the bench and we'll take a look at the parts that we have for this car, and also we'll grab the new antenna adapter. Let's open up the wiring harness. We call these smart harnesses because, well, there's the brain box, which implies it's kind of smart. Inside you'll find the actual harness and these ever so important instruction manuals. When it comes to Volkswagen, you definitely want to at least browse over it. Each vehicle is a little bit different. What remains the same is that the accessory will always be there, and that's what's missing from the car is the key. When you turn it on and off, it doesn't turn on the radio. It uses data to do that. Now, things that are going to change depending on the car that you have are things like reverse trigger, VSS, illumination, parking brake, those type of things. On the back of this are those notes that we're referring to. It's easy enough to go through. Do you have an 02 to 05 vehicle excluding Touareg? No. 2006 to 2010 vehicles with 8-button steering wheel controls? No. 2009 to 2010 vehicles with 12-button steering wheel? No. 2004 to 2010 Touareg? No. Refer to aftermarket radio instruction manuals for VSS, please. Okay, this just talks about hooking things up and how the parking brake. Alright, and some notes on the parking brake. 02 to 05 vehicles, don't have that. 04 to 07, don't have that either. For us, these notes really don't apply. The accessory here, this is the other important thing right here. Let me zoom in. Accessory has 1 amp of output. That's it, 1 amp. That's enough to turn on just the radio, nothing else. So if you want to turn on a backup camera or some lighting or anything else connected to this, you're gonna blow it up. It's not made to power anything else. You're gonna need to install a relay. They do give you a nice diagram here on how to hook it up. Parking brake, VSS, illumination, reverse trigger, steering wheel control output. We went over and grabbed the right antenna adapter. This, as we said, had this dual end on it. This one has a single end on it, but they both have this box right here and this blue wire coming out of it. This is the antenna turn-on wire. These are commonly referred to as amplified antenna adapters, and the reason they're not actually amplifiers inside of here, it's a relay inside of here. These are designed to pass, instead of a ground up that center point, pass a positive up the center pin. If you don't use one of these, you just grab the standard non-amplified ones, you're not going to turn on the Volkswagen amplifier, so your FM is going to suck. Now back to these instructions for a minute. For those of you that have never installed a radio before, we have a Pioneer. For the most part, we'll match up. Kenwood will, and Alpine will also, for the most part. There are some subtle differences. The colors that are the same are the yellow, which is the constant 12 volts, the black, that is ground, the blue, which is the amp turn on, in this case, is also going to turn on our antenna adapter. White is going to be positive, driver front. The colors with a black stripe are going to be the negative, so white's positive, white, black, negative. Gray is going to be passenger front, gray, black will be its negative. Green is going to be driver's rear, green, black will be its negative. Purple is going to be passenger rear, purple, black will be its negative. Where colors can get a little questionable is down in this section. Red, well, it is accessory with that 1 amp. Red, white says parking brake. On a Pioneer, parking brake is green. On a Kenwood, it is also green. On an Alpine, it's yellow blue. So pay attention here. Purple, white, VSS. Well, purple, white on this is reverse trigger. So there again, pay attention. Orange, white is illumination all across the board except for on Alpine. Alpine, if it's a video head unit, the orange, white is the reverse trigger. Green, reverse trigger. Green on this is the parking brake. Reverse is going to be, as we just said, purple, white. Reverse trigger on a Kenwood is the same And like we just said, on the Alpine, it's gonna be orange white. And then they list here white green steering wheel outputs. The reason why they list that is you could buy this harness, and let's say you do have steering wheel controls, but you don't want to retain them today because of the expense of the kit. You can always go back and add an SWIRC to this and get those steering wheel controls back. Now that we understand our coloring, kind of, I get it. We'll get these attached and get this prepped for the car. Let's take a look at the dash kit. Now, most dash kits come with a single DIN and a double DIN option. Up until now, I thought that was kind of silly because who's using a single DIN? But now that we have the nice floating screen radios that use a single DIN back mount, this is becoming more popular again. For this kit, it does have this brace here in the middle, which will need to be removed. The easiest way to do that I've found is with a set of flush cutting wire cutters, because it'll cut up next to the plastic, keep it nice and tight. Snap the trim ring in place. Now, if you are going to be using the pocket, that's what these are for. We're not. They easily snap off. This has two different styles of mounts, the flat panel and then these teeth. To figure out top and bottom, just look at the part that you broke off. The pocket always goes on the bottom with these kits. Snap it into place. In the bag also are these two, and what they're designed to do is go into the sides like this. The reason why they do that, if you'll notice here, see how this side is inset further than this side. To get those to where they're equal again for doing the double DIN radio, you snap those into place. Now you'll be able to put your screws in and it'll all stay level. If you don't put these in, what's going to happen is this top is going to bend in, which can make these little teeth that are designed to hold the front panel on not do a good job, and what could happen is your radio could push through the dash. These come with the coarse head screws, and what's nice about these kits is it comes with the longer ones for the top. You are going to need those because of the added thickness. If you're just like, hey, this is cool, I'm watching this and it's a lot of fun, but I don't have this car, how do I get my dash apart? All manufacturers provide a dash disassembly chart for their kits. PAC writes them on this side here. Metra gives you lots of pretty pictures. You can imagine which one I like better and is easier to use. Grab your radio, slide carefully your brackets on, and push it flush with the dash kit. Check them again to make sure your gapping is good. Now we can get this into the car. I always recommend putting at least one screw in just so the radio doesn't fall out, but now you need to test it to make sure that it turns on and functions. We got noise, which is what we're hoping for. Now, this isn't a CarPlay radio or Android Auto, so we don't have to worry about testing those, or I would suggest testing those. If you had steering wheel controls, test those. Backup camera, test that if it's got one. Test everything that you've added in before you get to this point where you snap the kit on. Fernando found a screw. Remember how I said this one was wrong? Well, he found one buried in the dash here, so we know the radio's been out at least once. So the purpose for this video was to show you guys how to look up the information for your car. It just so happens it was a Volkswagen. If you're a Volkswagen lover out there, hey, bonus. But those are the steps we take whenever we need to put a radio in the dash of a car. Keep that in the back of your head. If you're ever doing one of those, just think of this video and go, where did they go? Fernando.
On to the next one, guys.
We'll see you later next time. Bye. Ooh, that was good.